Want to welcome you because we're going to talk a little bit about why smart people stay small and what is the invisible rule that we all have behind failure. So, first of all, I want to talk about the invisible rule. That the invisible rule is something we all have, is that when we were young, we made decisions about how we were going to cope. We made based on our environment, based on our family, based on things that happen to us. And we make these rules because we're young and we got to figure it out. There's no one really inside our head telling us think this way or think that way. We come to our own conclusions. And those conclusions become our invisible rules. But those conclusions are made at a very young age. And we don't even know that we made those conclusions. But how we can find out what conclusions we made is look at our life. So today, specifically, we're going to talk about why smart people or very successful people or very bright or brilliant people stay small because they have this invisible rule, which is a fear of failure. And fear of failure is something that we all have on one level or another, because who wants to fail? Who wants to have a pie on their face? Who wants other people to see them humiliated? Or there's a big stigma. You failed. You made a mistake, or you didn't win a trial, or your marriage failed, or you are a financial failure. All of those things, no one wants to do that. So there's either two things we're going to do. We're going to fail and just pretend like we didn't fail and hide it, or we're just going to just play very small. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So how does that show up? How does it show up that we have fear of failure? One thing is that we will procrastinate. There's something that we know we should do. We know we need to do it, but we'll procrastinate it because we hate to see, I'd rather it be over here and I've not done it and I've not failed at it, rather than actually have the answer and say that I did fail. Another thing is overthinking, which leads also to procrastination. Should I do it? Should I not? Should I do this? Should I do that? So we're always procrastinating and overthinking, and rather than being in action, rather than failing. And or perfectionism. Can't do it. I can't approach it because it might not be perfect. It's not what I think. And or I'll do it next week, or I'll do it next year. I just recently wrote a book about the invisible rule, and it's the fourth book I've written. None of them have been bestsellers, but they're very meaningful and they've helped a lot of people. And they're very meaningful for me to put this out there. And my fiance, who's an avid reader, he reads all kind of books, and this is a book. This is a best-selling book. He couldn't get his head around that people write books. They're not writing the book to be a bestseller. And so rather than write a book, he'd rather read someone else's book and criticize those who are out there trying to put a book out there, or share their message, or share their history. Why not put it out there? Why not put our version of what it is that when they go, we're not going to be here our whole lives. And are we going to just be sitting there? Well, I can't do it because I'm not going to write a book because it's not going to be a bestseller, or I'm not going to open this business because it may not be a multi-million dollar empire. I'm not going to do that. And so we think it means something to us. It means if we fail at something, it means we're a failure. And it's not true. Being around people who are very successful, and you can talk to anyone who's a multi-millionaire, and they embrace failure. They embrace failure because then they move on. Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work. And that didn't work. And so they're like failing forward, instead of people that just stand still and don't go forward. They just stand still, stay in the same spot because of fear. But that fear of failure started probably before you were 7 years old, honestly. But really, the fear of failure isn't really about the failure. It's about what you think about the failure, or what you think others think about you about the failure. And I think a lot of people live their lives worried about what other people think about them. And that's one of the good things about when you get older. And I am a boomer and I've been around a while, is you know what? You know everybody's not going to like you. You know you're not everyone's cup of tea, and you're not going to sit around and wait or be afraid that other people are going to judge you. Because you know what? Number one, everybody's going to judge you because they have their standards. You have your standards. No two people, unless you have people that we all think alike and we're shoulder to shoulder, and none of us is going to step out of line of what is our norm because we're all alike. And so therefore I feel safe in this environment where no one steps out of line or tries to be too much. I remember as a kid in my household, it was like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You're stepping out of line. You're trying to be too much. What is too much? Tell me, what is too much? And a lot of us, we're like, I don't want to be too much. Or if someone steps out and they are participating and they are doing, oh, they're too much. Why not be too much? It's your life. It's all you have.